So hi. So today the main topic is the scheduler, um, and it's kind of really kind of good thing, the good concept for the understanding how process is gonna be managed. Um, if you have like experience of, um, like having a lecture of operating system, you were able to hear about like scheduler those kind of things. And I think the scheduler is most foundation and the important part of how modern web application is running right now. Even operating system. And and this is a kind of really huge concept. So I'm just gonna try to explain what is scheduler and why do we need it. So scheduler is basically is the reason why it's needed because um its process has to change. It has to be switch quickly, or the it has to be first served with the priority, or sometimes it had to be instant with the switching. So scheduler is for the process. So but what is the process? Process is not kind of like not it's like not really a natural thing. Process, sorry, my hair is kind of bothering. Process is actually is running instance of the program. If it's like program here, and the program is like process is like running instance of it. So basically, the instant in this in not right now, the instant means that it's kind of recopied from the original one, but it doesn't really independent. It still belongs to the original one. It is kind of copy, but it still um, have have dependent on the original one. And the program when you run it is gonna be comparing the process. Process can have process is not kind of really natural thing. It gets the memory because if you look at the process model, the one is resource grouping and the thread, because and the resource grouping means that it get resources. So example in the process there's a process control block. It has the program counter, heap, and stack, and whatever other memories. And this process has the resource grouping, what I just said, and another thing is execution. The execution is handled by the thread, so process have at least thread. So process is this. Um, so example, if I'm trying to open the website, if I open the website and if I go some kind of whatever URL, it will open it, and this the browser renders the web page. And in this rendering part, render process has to be done because render process is the one who renders the web page. In this rendering, the one thread is gonna be doing it. It's called the main thread. So and there's only one thread in the render process because in render process there's only one thread. So that's the reason why JavaScript is single threaded. So to now back again, that's kind of a really example of the process. Process not just a thing. It it do some kind of task that requires an example rendering the web page render process is being handled by this. And the process, the reason why scheduler is important because we don't really um, use only one application. We use a lot of application right now. Example, if you're in, I'm right now I'm recording this screen and I'm using OBS Studio and I'm using the Escalibro inside the Obsidian application of it. So those kind of thing is app. An app is kind of program and this is process. The UI thread is being right now is rendering this this screen, and also there's a process in the operating system that makes these pixels into visible into right now, and this scheduler has to be appropriate. Sorry, it has to be served into user, served into the client, much as possible, since if it's slow, the user might experience bad thing. Example, the lag of it. The scheduler is the way of the make is kind of strategy to solve this kind of problem. Indeed, so there's like three types of scheduler, but that's kind of a basic thing. There's a three basic thing of scheduler, which is FCFS, first come first serve, and SJF, sort is job first, and the next thing is round robin. In this video, I'm just gonna explain this three simple thing, and how do we really kind of test it, and how do we implement our own for the front end engineers. So FCFS means that first comes first serve. So there's gonna be like a lot of process, and less, and it has the some kind of time cost of handling this kind of process. And let me just give you more example here. So this is process one, and next thing is process two, and last thing is process three. And the FCFS means that first come first serve, but the it doesn't really make this process. It doesn't really kind of manipulate this kind of process thing, because example, this process takes example 0.5 seconds, and this take 0.3 seconds, and this take 0.4 seconds. FCFS means that first comes first out, so it means it doesn't cares about your process burst time, which also means that the time that process the time that process could be done. So it doesn't care about burst time, so it just needs it just needs serve the when first come. But the problem is that it could lead to the process starvation, because example, this has to be wait till this process has executed. So if there's a lot of long process of it, this has to be waited. So that's kind of a problem of it. So next thing is SJF, shortest job first. Since FCFS is there's no priority, but SJF it uses priority to based on the burst time. So example 0.3 is actually smaller than 0.5 seconds, so it has to be going to the first, because that first, and next is 0.4 seconds, and it goes to next, and next thing is 0.5 seconds, and it goes to last. So shortest job first basically means that based on the burst time of the process, it just reschedule based on the priority, and I think it's gonna be used the priority queue of it. And SJF is kind of really important, because based on this kind of SJF, there's like multi-feedback queue that enhance these the real time priority queue, priority scheduler. The last thing is the round robin. So round robin is basically means that since it's kind of really hard to choose the priority, and even though if there's the priority, that could also means that the last thing has to be waited. So what if we just trying to slice it based on time slicing? It's called the time slicing based on time, so we don't have any problem of the which one get the starvation problem. It's kind of really Solomon Solomon thing in the Bible. Um, so example, something in the Bible. Example, if you look at the the Solomon story. So there's a the woman who who says that this baby is mine, and there's another woman who says baby is mine. When Solomon say, let's just slice the baby, and and the one who trying to stop this whatever slicing and things, and she's the mother of it, whatever stuff. So it's kind of Solomon saying we have, so it's there's the problem with it, we just slice it, so there's no problem. And since this is also valid in the time slicing, and we just time slice based on the um, we just time slicing so that there's no problem of the starvation. Also, this kind of problem lead into this kind of thing. This kind of solution lead into some kind of priority issue, because if you look at the real time, the priority has to be done quickly. Since this is kind of really bad for the part real time, it's kind of really bad for it. So round robin is basically being used for the UI example. The operating system UI has to be even this collecting is UI, right? It has this operating system has to show it a screen. This kind of UI has to be done, but since there's no specific priority on this UI, we commonly use round robin for the UI. So I think that's kind of the explanation about the scheduler thing. And next thing is how do we really make it? I never make it, but I think this is how we make as a front end engineer. Um, there's a web API called request ID callback. So request ID callback is it's just the it's just the handling the queue function to schedule. I don't know if you guys can see this image or not. I think you guys can see. Yeah. So this is called a web API and is limited. However, since I think this request ID callback is kind of the queue for the scheduler. So you can just make your own scheduler using this request ID callback, FCFS, SJF, and round robin. I think sorry for saying I think so but the request ID callback, it doesn't provide for the or browser, and you have to think about wisely. But however, this is kind of very good for making your own scheduler. So this is it. Have a nice day. See you next time. Bye bye.